I'm not great. I'm gonna miss everyone. Okay, I did it!
Surviving the stats, enforcing intermediate driver's license restrictions.
911, what are you reporting? There's a very, very bad accident on I-5.
If you are a parent or a law enforcement officer, it's important to be aware of the fact that teens have a lot more collisions and fatal collisions than drivers of other age groups. Teens make up about 7% of all drivers in Washington, yet are involved in about 14% of all fatal collisions.
The per-mile collision rate of 16-year-old beginning drivers is 10 times higher than the collision rate of adult drivers, that is, people over the age of 21.
That's right, and the collision rate is 3 times higher than that of 18-year-old drivers, which means that there's a 2/3 decline in the collision rate just from ages 16 to 18. Astounding.
Imagine for a moment you are stepping into an airplane to learn how to fly for the first time. Consider how much attention and concentration this would require from you, because you're new to it. For teens, driving is new territory. They are more susceptible to distraction by other teens, and due to their maturity level, or lack thereof, they are more inclined to be influenced by others.
After teen drivers have had a chance to clock more hours behind the wheel, they see for themselves why the speed limit is set where it is, why, when the road curves up ahead, the speed limit is reduced. Not all teens have to learn these kinds of lessons the hard way, but, unfortunately, a large number of them do.
The average teen driver will be involved in 2 collisions within their first 2 years of driving. The average adult driver will be involved in 1 collision every 5 years. If you are a middle-aged adult watching this, you'll want to try to be better than average.
Now, statistically speaking, of 100 teen drivers within their first 2 years of driving, 37 will receive tickets for speeding, 4 will be ticketed for DUI, 28 will be involved in a collision, 13 will be injured in a collision, 1 will be killed in a collision, and 17 will be just fine, based on national driving statistics.
Teen driving collisions have been extensively researched. One study by the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation found that 16 and 17-year-old drivers make the same kind of driving errors as older drivers. They just make them more often. So what are these errors?
Failing to scan the driving environment. Safe drivers take that extra moment of time to look ahead, to the side, to the rear before entering traffic, before changing lanes, and before passing other cars. Teen drivers often don't take enough time observing traffic before they make their move. Think of this as a more impulsive style of driving. Secondly, inattention, being distracted. This is a big factor in teen crashes, and it's a growing menace with the advent of cell phones and texting.
The major reasons for collisions involving 16 and 17-year-old drivers: failing to visually scan the driving environment, 44%, not paying attention, 23%, speeding, 21%.
And while those are the big winners, there's also tailgating, 6%, DUI, 2%, and note that this is a major cause for fatal collisions, and fatigue, 2%.
There is another important piece to this puzzle that is the American teenager, and that has to do with brain development, something scientists are just now uncovering in their research on the growth of the human brain.
Not long ago, scientists thought that the human brain finished growing at about age 6. However, recent studies suggest that the human brain continues to develop until a person reaches their mid-20s.
During the teen years, brain development continues. For teens, this growth occurs particularly in the brain's connections that govern their ability to use logic, size up risk, and make sound decisions. Teens are more impulsive, and their driving skills worsen when friends are in the car. Driving is also a learned skill, and it takes time to integrate all the physical and cognitive tasks that are required to drive safely. As every alert parent knows, given the right set of circumstances, a really smart, together teen can make a really bad decision.
So knowing all that, we give a teen a car, we give them a driver's license, and we send them off down the road. And we hope for what? The best? That's a bad plan. A better plan? More controls on their driving world.
In Washington, newly licensed teen drivers have restrictions on their driving that directly correlate with the crash data. The first license that a teen gets is called an Intermediate Driver's License, or IDL. So, what are the IDL restrictions?
One important restriction is on the number of passengers a teen can carry. The research shows that teens are more susceptible to being distracted when in the presence of other teens. Distraction is a leading cause of fatal and serious injury collisions for teens, and limiting passengers reduces teen crashes.
The research shows that a teen driver carrying another teen passenger has twice the risk of a fatal crash than the teen who drives alone. If the teen driver has 2 or more teen passengers, the risk is 5 times as high.
The Washington IDL law also restricts a teen from driving at night, between 1 and 5 a.m. Again, this is tied to research that shows that serious injury and fatal collisions caused by and involving teens are more likely to happen late at night and on the weekends.
States that restricted the nighttime driving of newly licensed teen drivers reduced their crashes up to 60%.
Not only do the IDL restrictions correlate with the crash data, but these restrictions give new drivers an opportunity to improve their driving skills before they're faced with driving situations that require more skill and maturity. But these restrictions won't work unless they're enforced. It is our hope that law enforcement in Washington become familiar with the IDL law and its restrictions and enforce this important law. We are also participating in educational efforts with parents on the same issue.
Motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for teenagers. Teens die in vehicle collisions at 3 times the rate of middle-aged drivers. If those of us in law enforcement and those of us who are parents take the time to familiarize ourselves with the IDL restrictions and enforce them, we'll reduce the number of teens who are severely hurt and killed in motor vehicle collisions.
For a fact sheet that outlines the IDL restrictions and a copy of the law, go to www.wtsc.wa.gov or contact the Washington Traffic Safety Commission at 360-753-6197.